we have to start with this. This is cholera, what is that, halophilic review, and erroneous infection. Alright, so how I study is first we look at the topic, chapter cup review. Over here they have given cholera, halophilic review infection, and aerophilic. Now let's look at how long the chapter is. It will give us an idea. Okay, it's a pretty short chapter, like about 4 pages. It is short in my opinion. So then I just go through the text and we're gonna underline whatever feels important. Alright guys, so we have completed this chapter. మొత్తం లెసన్ చదివాను అండ్ ఇందులో నాకు ఇంపార్టెంట్ అనిపించిన పాయింట్స్ I'm going to mention now. So firstly we have to understand about cholera. Cholera ఈ chapter కి main అన్నమాట. So cholera is classified as a VPO. In VPO again we have two types, non-halophilic and halophilic. Non-halophilic means that they do not need salt content in the water to grow, whereas halophilic means that they need salt content to grow. Now cholera will come under non-halophilic VPOs. Here you can see VPO cholera. So here they have given some serographing, biotyping, and phenotyping, phase typing, etc. etc. All of this, only one point is important, that is that cholera gene, whatever toxin gene it is, that comes from a bacteriophage. What is a bacteriophage? Something that it's a virus that will infect your bacteria. And we all know how transduction happens, transfer of gene from the virus to the bacteria. So that is what happened here, and that is how the toxin came. Here in the diagram, it is like clearly given. I don't know if you can see the diagram. Yeah. So in the diagram, they're showing that there are two parts to the toxin, A part and B. So fragment A, fragment B, what happens is fragment B will bind to the receptor over here. It will form a complex and that will allow the fragment A to enter. Fragment A is the toxic part. What it does is that it binds to G protein, is going to activate G protein. There is going to be utilization of ATP and adenylate cyclase will be increased. When adenylate cyclase is increased, CAMP is also increased. When CAMP is increased, what happens is what happens is sodium channels are blocked. Now sodium is in the extracellular, like in this area, sodium will be present. As you can see over here, sodium is going out. The channel is blocked. So when sodium is increased in the extracellular region or extracellular membrane, what happens here is that electrolyte balance is disturbed. This will become more saline and the body will try to dilute it by sending water here. Water will obviously go to places where it is more saline, like it is of high concentration of sodium. There the water will try to move, and when it moves over there, obviously it's going to be watery and this will form a water diarrhea, and water diarrhea obviously is coming out of the body. Water loss is there. With water loss there's electrolyte loss leads to loss of bicarbonate loss will lead to acidosis, and because we have fluid loss there's dehydration and all other symptoms like I have written here. All other symptoms like posterior hypertension. Hypertension is increasing blood pressure, right? Obviously, because the blood plasma is reduced. Water part of the blood, that is plasma, it is reduced. So obviously the blood is more thicker and the fluidity is reduced, so there is hypertension. Then there is weakness, and there is tachycardia, because obviously when there is less blood, the heart has to pump more, and that will lead to tachycardia. So this is about cholera. Now, if we move on in the chapter, So over here we can see clinical manifestation. In clinical manifestation, what is important is that there is water diarrhea. Let me take this. So there is water diarrhea, which basically is a characteristic feature of cholera. Cholera, one thing we need to understand is that it will not affect any body tissues. It's not going to affect the heart, it's not going to affect the brain. It's affecting the transport of chloride and sodium and other electrolytes. So indirectly it is causing a deficiency of electrolyte that will affect the body. Right. So that is the main feature of it. So they have elaborated here as like water stool. So also there is presence of vomiting, but fever is usually absent. Because as I told you, this is not affecting the immunity, it is just affecting the sodium electrolyte balance. So now there is progression of clinical manifestation will be directly proportional to the fluid loss. The more the fluid is lost, the more the electrolyte is lost. That will lead to more imbalance in electrolyte. That will lead to the worsening of already present clinical manifestation. So this is about this page. Another important thing here is the electrolyte variant. I think it's given here somewhere. Paragraphs, they have given L2 and classical. Now these both are important as per the chapter thing. So we need to know what is L2 biotype, what is classical. One of the main differences is that L2 biotype is much more resistant. So it is easier to spread and it is one of the main causes for many of the recent pandemics of cholera. Whereas classical biotype is actually a more deadly one, but it is not that resistant. Another thing to note is that cholera is a heat liable one. That means it will break down in heat or it can also easily break down in acid. That is why a high amount of infectious dose is required to begin the infection. So here they have given a little bit about the status of cholera, like how many cases are there, in the world. And then this is about lab analysis. In that we have direct microscopy, which is gram staining of mucus phase. So then there is motility testing by hanging of method. So I think it's a motile. Okay then. Then as for the culture, it can be cultured in a media containing salt of 0.5 to 1%. It will stimulate the growth and alkaline pH will allow the Vibrio cholera to grow, inhibiting fecal commitment. Enrichment broth can also be used. There is a bit more about all the lab diagnosis, everything. So another important thing is the treatment of cholera. So normally what you expect for any kind of bacterial infection is to give antibiotic. But over here it is not very reasonable or it does not have a role in the treatment, mainly because antibiotics help to relieve any kind of tissue infection. But over here the infection is mainly causing electrolyte imbalance. So in order to do any further treatment, first the major thing which is fluid replacement should be started first. Saline or something like that can be given, ORS can be given. All of that will help in restoring the fluid balance. Once the fluid balance is restored, automatically all the clinical manifestation will be gone and you don't have to do anything else for this thing. But antibiotics can be given. It will just prolong the time taken for the clinical manifestation to occur. Now we are coming to, I think, the final part. Basically, they're talking about all the vaccines that can be given. There's oral, live, echiniotic, I don't know. Next, we have halophilic vibrio infection. In this, there are about 2 to 3 names that you should be knowing. For example, there is, I don't know if you can see, just review parahemolyticus. That is one important thing. We just have to know what are the clinical manifestations, how is the laboratory diagnosis done. In this, the important one is Kanagawa phenomena. Mm, this you have to know. And salt tolerance, MALDI, MALDITOF, and VITEK test. And of course, treatment can be also known. Also remember the antibiotic used here will be erythromycin or azithromycin. Those are the main antibiotics used. And then over here we have Vibrio acinolitis infection. Again, it's the same. You just need to know what it is. And then let's not forget Vibrio vernificus. This is also there. And then that's it. The lesson is done. Anyway guys, for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna end it over here. We have done one chapter successfully. So further on, we can do all the other chapters. But let me know if you guys enjoy these kind of videos. I could definitely make in all the other subjects. It helps me to just study and it is also the content for my video. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video and see you in the next one. Bye.